Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video for today. So a quick update on the BMNR situation, Bitmine situation. I already did 2 videos on the channel talking about, well, the whole thesis behind this, the whole thesis behind a crypto treasury. That video will be in the top right corner. Now, since then, I have become a BMNR shareholder. Very small amount of shares, 169 shares to be exact, which at the time of recording are worth this much. Now, unfortunately, by the time that you're watching this, I pretty much assume that the stock will go down. Why is that? Well, because right now it's already down 8% or so pre-market. Now, what exactly has happened? Well, it has to do, of course, with the fact that Ethereum went down. As you can see, Ethereum went down from 4,400 and something. It went down around 7% or so. Now, of course, if Ethereum goes down, BMNR will go down as well. Not always, but usually when you have such a big red candle just like that, especially when the market is not open, then you will see these things happen. Now, what's interesting here is that, on a technical basis, we might be finding some support here at around $4,100 or so for Ethereum. But as a BMNR shareholder, what you would like is for Ethereum to drop in order for BMNR, especially if BMNR's MNAV is above 1, well above 1, to use the overvaluation of the company to buy more Ethereum. Because essentially what you want to have is an increase in the amount of Ethereum held per share. That's the end game here, to have the most amount of Ethereum per share, right? And so if Ethereum does go down, you should be using, in my opinion, BMNR's recent, let's say, recovery in stock price, right? We went from around, $40 to $60. That's a 50% increase or so over the past 2 weeks. You should be using that to increase, of course, the amount of Ethereum held. Now, the most recent update that we've got from Bitmine was last week. So last week they told us Bitmine crypto plus cash holdings plus moonshots totaled $10.77 billion, including 2.151 million ETH tokens, unencumbered cash of $569 million, and other crypto holdings. Bitmine is the 28th most traded stock in the United States, trading $2 billion per day. Of course, we will be waiting for the next update. Probably they are going to increase their ETH holding even more. Well, we didn't even have to wait that long, because while I was editing this video, Bitmine announces pricing of $365.24 million registered direct offering at $70 per share. Why is that a big deal? Well, at $70 per share, they sold their stock at a 14% premium to Friday's close, and of course a higher premium right now since the stock is down. By selling shares at $70 per share compared to their $61.29 closing price, this is materially accretive to existing shareholders, as the primary use of proceeds is to add to their ETH holdings. In our view, this 14% premium reflects not only strong institutional investor interest in the Bitmine story, but also confidence in our execution as a company. Institutional investors have told us Bitmine remains the only large-cap US stock to give investors direct exposure to Ethereum. Our August chairman's message resonates with many investors who see the compelling supercycle for Ethereum as Wall Street moves to embrace and build upon this blockchain. The company expects the offering to close on or about September 23, subject to satisfaction of customary closing conditions. And so, of course, this again adds to what Tom Lee has said before. And this is also something that MicroStrategy was able to do, right? Sell stock at a premium. Now, for those that missed the basics here, and by the way, I will explain why I have a very small position in BMR in just a bit. But for those who missed the basics, this is basically it. ETH Treasury calls are crypto infrastructure businesses. Ethereum is a proof-of-stake blockchain, so ETH Treasury companies secure the network. ETH generates a staking yield, effectively revenues for ETH Treasury companies. Of course, as the adoption grows, they'll generate more and more. Staking secures the ETH network, hence providing enhanced network security, and stablecoin issuers and those tokenizing real-world assets will want to stake ETH to similarly provide network security. We've heard the likes of Robinhood talk about tokenizing more and more assets. And we've also had that report from the NASDAQ. And so if that does gain more traction, ETH and in turn Bitmine, SBET as well, SharpLink, I think they're number 2 here, are going to be big winners. Now, the bull case from Bitmine, which Tom Lee is the chairman of, he's not the founder or something, he's the chairman of it, which of course adds here to the bull thesis. So the bull case for ETH is this: digital oil, store of value, and global reserve asset for the digital economy. One way to think about ETH's digital utility is in terms of how oil, ETH, in this case, functions as a productive asset versus gold, which is BTC, as an inert store of value. Now, I still don't know how I feel about this analogy here because, yes, on the one side you could say, okay, it makes total sense. On the other side, you could very much say that this just doesn't make much sense. And so the end goal here is quite simple. Our goal is to increase shareholder value by acquiring ETH in our treasury and increasing the ETH held per share, and to achieve a 5% stake in the Ethereum network. Ethereum may see exponential growth driven by the ChatGPT moment in crypto, as stablecoins have seen exponential adoption, leading to Wall Street tokening assets into the blockchain. The majority of these real-world assets are on the Ethereum blockchain, making the ETH token valuable. The competitive return of MicroStrategy versus Bitcoin over a similar timeframe show a crypto treasury stock can be an attractive alternative to owning the crypto token or ETF outright, because an ETH treasury vehicle can unlock growth and utility that owning ETH outright doesn't capture. If you go back and look at MicroStrategy compared to Bitcoin, the performance of MicroStrategy is just much better. Yeah, maybe year to date they're a bit similar, but over the last 1 year, 2, 3, 5 years or so, MicroStrategy did outperform Bitcoin. And so the potential here, and again, these are hypotheticals. Okay, the estimated replacement cost value is $4 trillion, estimated payments volume value is $3 trillion, and so the ETH value sum is $7 trillion. Quick maths, I know. Current ETH value was $400 billion. Of course, that fluctuates every day and every week. And so the estimated ETH value potential, if we are, well, we're going to be at, of course, 4,000 right now. So that's a 15x if they believe that ETH is going to $60,000. If and when. Of course, a lot of people are seeing this number and they already think that, oh, next year I'll be buying my private jet, my villa, my yacht, my Lambo. No, this is over a long period of time, right? They talk about this being a huge thing for the next 10 to 15 years. Of course, a lot of retail investors, unfortunately, never really think about the next 10 to 15 years. Maybe they do think about the next 10 to 15 months or so. Now, me personally, and of course, we do like to put on this picture of Tom Lee in front of, well, some people say it's salmon, some people say it's meat. But anyways, the background. Anyways, to me, this is just my way. And this also, by the way, goes to the next point, institutional. How do they get exposure to all of it? They get exposure through something like this. And this is also my way to get exposure to a potential huge upside in the crypto world, more specifically here in the Ethereum blockchain world, which of course includes tokenizing assets, includes stablecoins as well. So instead of me going to, oh, stablecoin company, or instead of me going to, oh, tokenizing assets, no, you buy here the underlying infrastructure, which is going to be Ethereum, but in this case, it's a leverage play. It's the Ethereum treasury company, which Tom Lee, an important aspect of all of it, because I'm pretty sure that if Tom Lee was not the chairman of this company, we would not be talking about BMNR right now. We would not even be buying BMNR right now. So yes, it does play a part in it, for sure. For sure, it does play a part in it. And so this is just my way, very, very small way. Like I said, 169 shares right now. Could those shares increase in the future? Yes, if we do really see some traction from a lot of companies and it makes sense, then yes, I will be increasing my stake. But right now, as Tom Lee has said a couple of years ago, right? You remember that CNBC interview when Bitcoin was under 10,000, maybe close to $5,000 or so. He was saying, yeah, 1-2% of your portfolio could be exposed to crypto, right? Becky was shocked. How can you say this? It's extremely risky. Well, it's 1-2%, right? If you want the big bucks, then yes, you will have to put 1 or 2% at risk. It's not much, right? It's 1 or 2%. You still have 98% that you could have put in, I don't know, gold or bonds or whatever. To me, again, this is my way to get exposure to it. I was very big in crypto back in 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020. I sold it all in 2021 because I liked stocks way more. Right now, this is just my way of getting back here. Not usually exposed, but if it works out, great. If it doesn't, then it doesn't. It's very, very simple. You don't have to overcomplicate things, right? It's very simple. You want to get exposure to crypto, more specifically Ethereum, tokenizing assets and all of that. You trust that Tom Lee, being the chairman of this company, is good enough. So you put your money in there. You may ask, I know, yeah, but Tom Lee is only a genius in a bull market. Well, and I also see the comparison, oh, it's just another Cathie Wood. Well, I didn't really see Tom Lee put $1,600 price targets on Roku. So no, he's not another Cathie Wood. Plus, he has been quite consistent over the years. And over the years, yeah, we've had some bear markets, we've had some bear periods, crashes and all of that, but he has been quite consistent. He's not flip-flopping his way on TV like some other analysts out there, which that's maybe one of the only, I would say, orange flags here is that whole WorldCoin orbs type of thing with their knives. That's the only orange flag that I would say that I didn't like. But okay, I guess that's the price to pay here. But other than that, these are my reasons. It's very, very small exposure. We can go down quite a lot. We can go up quite a lot in the short term. But this is, again, a very, very long-term story. One, to achieve a 5% stake in the Ethereum network, of course, depending on the price of Ethereum and depending on how much they're buying, could happen in the next 12 months or maybe even sooner. And then secondly is basically this. How fast can we replace the financial infrastructure? How fast can a Robinhood, right, change the way people view buying stocks, maybe real estate, maybe some other assets out there? Also doing it in a secure way and not in a scammy way, right? How fast can we do this? And then, yes, and then maybe one day you might see Ethereum at $60,000, maybe. But all in all, to me, this remains a highly speculative play. And just because this was at $160 back in July, which, by the way, it went up from $5 to $160 in a matter of a week, which was crazy, doesn't mean that we should be going back to $160 next month, next week. No, it would take some time, okay? It will take some time. They'll continue to accumulate more and more ETH along the way. And then the ETH per share is, of course, going to grow, which you can track a lot of it on this website right here, BMNR Rocks. You've probably seen it already on a couple of posts. Unfortunately, Bitmine does not have the same dashboard that Sharplink has. Sharplink does it very, very well, but in the meantime, you can use BMNR Rocks. It did update 12 minutes ago, so these are the stats at the time of making this video. Of course, these things will change by the time you're watching it. So all in all, let me put myself here. All in all, that's about it. That's my reasoning behind this. Yes, previously in the other videos, you know, I said I didn't understand all of it just yet. Dug a little bit deeper, open up a small position. You know, Stanley Druckenmiller always said, invest and then investigate. And that's exactly what I've been doing. So all in all, that's about it for me in this video. Share your thoughts down in the comment section below, and I see each other in the next one. Bye-bye.